Hello guys, welcome to the Love School USA one more time, and not only USA but UK also. We've been broadcasting in the UK. Hello London, hello Birmingham,
Yeah,
Bristol.
UK is very special for us as well because we kind of solved all our problems back in the UK, and in the US we kind of took it out to help other people, right? So in the UK we solved our problems, we went through problems, we solved our problems, and the US we learned how to teach others from our problems.
Yes, and today we want to talk to you about one of the most powerful revelations we had that helped us solve our marriage problems. We've been together 28, going to 29 years in marriage now. And for the first 12 years, we were just butting heads because we could never come to an agreement on some key issues in our marriage. Cristiane's main complaints were that I didn't give her enough attention, I didn't listen to her, I didn't have a more outgoing personality to go out and have fun, and she's like that, so she wanted me to be more like her, and I am more of a stay-at-home, like to enjoy peace and quiet.
Yeah, but that wasn't just that, right?
Yeah, that was
stay
part of it.
home, but then that you were the kind of person who wouldn't really talk to me or share your day or anything. So I felt like I was left out. And sometimes when couples go, they complain about things, but the biggest issue is another one. And they normally don't even know. Like I remember complaining that we wouldn't go out, complaining about not getting flowers or having any romantic outings. But that wasn't really what I wanted from my husband. And sometimes couples have this problem, especially women. We don't know exactly what we want. We complain about many things that kind of are saying one thing exactly,
well,
right?
They've made movies about it, what women want, because it seems nobody can figure it out.
It's like sometimes it looks even easy, like, oh, you want flowers? All right, here's flowers.
Yeah.
But that isn't it, right?
Yeah. So for example, when the best picture we can give you to illustrate this is a tree, right? When you look at a tree, you see what? You see the leaves, the branches, you see the trunk. But you forget often that the tree is only there, what you see of the tree is only there because of the roots under the ground. And if the roots were not there, the tree would cease to exist. The same is with the marriage problem. Most couples, when they come to complain about their spouse, they come and complain about the leaves and branches of the relationship problems, right? Like she said, oh, you don't take me out often enough. You're not romantic enough. We fight a lot. We fight over little things. These are the branches and leaves of relationship problems, things that you see every day. But what you don't see, and often is unknown by the couple, is the root behind what's causing that problem, or all those problems in the marriage. So for example, let's talk about the roots we found that caused our marriage problems. So you want to talk about yours first?
Yeah, well, my root was insecurity. I had a lot of insecurity about myself. And when a person is very insecure about herself, she tends to have other people kind of compensate for that insecurity. So if you're married, you want that husband or wife to make up for that insecurity. So you want that person to tell you how much you're beautiful and you're great and they love you. But not one, not twice, not three times, all the time. And that's not gonna be enough because you're still insecure. You're not happy with yourself. And that was my root. So let's just talk about, how a person is insecure with the roots like myself. You don't know that. So you're never satisfied. You're always complaining about what the other person's not doing for you. And even if that person, I remember my husband just, okay, all right, let's go out. That's what you want, so let's go out. And he would go out. But that was enough for me, because I would think, well, but you don't want to go out with me. And I want you to go out with me because you want to.
I want you to go out, and I want you to want to go out with me.
Yeah. You said I love you because I told you to. So why? I want you to say I love you because you want to say I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But then I said it last week. Well, that's not enough. You have to say it more.
And then you are frustrated because you don't know what the person wants, right? and I'm sure many husbands can identify with me right now, because you try to please your wife when she says, "Oh, you don't go out with me enough," and then he says, "Okay, all right." So he plans something for Saturday, and you go out, and then she's not happy, or 2 days later she's not happy again.
Oh, she's even happy for that day, but then she's not happy because it's not every week.
It's not every week, or because she knows that he only did it because she asked him to. Or he only helped with the dishes because she cried and she complained and she had a fight with him because he doesn't help around the house enough. So he goes there and does a few things around the house, and she's still not happy because she wants him to want to do things around the house. So you see how the problem goes on and on. The root of the problem is not known. The tree is there bearing fruits. You cut off the branches, right? You have an argument and you think you solved the problem because you talked about it and you came to an agreement, and then you think, okay, this is sorted now. But you only cut off the branches. And then as time goes by, sure enough, that branch is going to grow back and you're going to have another problem.
Yeah, I just remember this movie, The Breakup, very, very famous movie with Jennifer Aniston. And you can see this clearly in the movie, because they break up. They were living together and for a couple of years, and they were okay. But then one day, they had guests coming, and she asked him to buy some lemons.
Yeah, a dozen
and
lemons.
he brought what, like
Four.
four full lemons.
3 or something.
And she started looking at
She
how
flips.
he didn't help out in the house. He didn't wash the dishes and stuff. So she just flips, and she's like, you never do anything. You don't appreciate. So they break up, and the whole movie's about that.
And you think it's about the lemons. It's not about the lemons, because it comes way before the lemons and way deeper than the lemons. But the lemons, they just trigger the whole thing. And that's what happens with many couples. When the root problem is not resolved, any small thing can trigger a big fight. When you fight and then after everything is past, you think, my God, we fought over, a glass in the sink. We fought over 5 minutes.
Or even think, what was it? What did they start?
Why did we start fighting?
Yeah.
You don't even remember. It's because there are issues, underlying issues there, that have never been recognized or resolved, that are lurking in the background, and you don't do anything about it, and they keep coming back to haunt you, to disturb you. So until that root problem is resolved between you, you will continue having relationship problems, and you will be frustrated to the end. You grow old, or if you manage to grow old together, you will stay with these problems forever. Because if you want to kill a tree, kill the root. That's the rule. And in marriage, we have to do the same.
Yeah. So how do we do it? How did we do it? First of all, we realized we had a root. And that's the first thing that people need to do. Is realize, okay, I have a root. There's something feeding this behavior in my marriage. Something that I have inside of me. Because, why it looks so easy. We're saying here, find a root. Okay, yeah, sure, why not? It's not that simple, because for you to find your root, you have to look at yourself. And when you are in a relationship, you don't want to look at yourself. You want to look at the other one. And you think, he's the problem. He needs to change. If he changes, you will change. So this attitude of you looking at yourself gives already a break in this relationship. Like, okay, I'm not gonna complain, I'm not gonna ask, I'm not gonna expect anything from you right now, because I'm gonna look at myself in the mirror, and I'm gonna find out what's going on inside of me, why I need so much attention, why everything you do is never enough for me, why do I always say that we might not end up together forever. I have to find out where this is coming from, the fear of losing the relationship.
What's driving the behavior? What's driving the thought? What's driving the idea, right, behind what you think, behind what you do? What's driving it? It's not always apparent, it's not always evident. You need to keep asking why. Why is it? Why are you so jealous of your wife, of your husband? Why are you so jealous? And then you're going to say, well, because she dresses, she puts on all these short dresses and I don't like it. Yeah, why don't you like it? Why don't you like when she's wearing those short dresses? But look deeper, look inside, because it's not about the dress, it's about you. Okay, perhaps the dress may even be short, but what makes you so jealous and angry about it? Do you have a trauma of being cheated on by a previous partner, a previous wife, a previous girlfriend, right? Are you insecure when she's around guys? When guys look at her, do you feel that you are inferior to other guys? And that's perhaps driving your paranoia about her, that she might cheat on you. You would prefer that she walked around in a burqa, but you find out that when a person has a root problem that is driving jealous behavior, even the burqa is not going to solve it, because you're going to have a problem with her eyes. Right? You're going to think that men are looking too closely to see her eyes. So the problem is not really the person, the problem is you. So you have to keep asking that question. Why? Why are we always broke? Why are we always broke? And then you're going to fight her because you think, oh, because she bought that sofa that we didn't need for $3,000, right? And that's probably not the reason why you're broke. It goes much deeper to financial behaviors, to the way you both see money differently, and things about your childhood, how you struggled with money in childhood, how you saw money as a source of pleasure or as a source of problems. So you need to keep going down and the question that you need to ask is why. When you get the answer to the first question, then why again? And as you go deep, you're going to find what's really driving that behavior.
And one root that is very common nowadays, and especially among women, is the controlling behavior. You have to control everything, and everything has to be in your way, and you have to be the one leading everybody in the family. But at the same time that you have to lead everybody, that you want control of everybody, you feel exhausted because everything is up on your shoulders. Why do you need to control everybody? Why do you need to be aware of everything that is going on in the house, and everybody has to walk around the way you want? Why? That behavior, Renato, sometimes comes from the fear of losing. Sometimes when a person grows in a family that is apart, like the father leaves or somebody dies, something tragic happens in the family, that person loses control of everything. Like, let's say your father went bankrupt and you guys lost everything, and you had to go through a lot of hardships to have something to eat. That caused trauma. That caused trauma in you. Like, oh my God, I have to control everything because I don't want to go through that again. So you grow up with this fear of losing all the time. And because you fear losing, you have to control. So you control your husband's life, you control your kid's life. And everybody feels suffocated because you're on top of them all the time. And you feel like you are just nagging all the time. You nag too much and you don't like being yourself, but at the same time you can't help it you're always in control. You always want to be in control. That's the root. That's a root. That's how you find. Okay, so when you find out, oh, so the reason I'm like this is because I am afraid of losing. I'm afraid that something like that happened in my family will happen again. So now you have a clear understanding of what to do with that information. That's why you need to know the root. When I found out that I was insecure, and I found out why I was insecure, because of something I heard when I was very young. Then I started working at that, like, okay, but that doesn't make any sense, what I heard. And why is that just determining my whole life? Why is that making me become this person? So once you realize, once you recognize your root, you can do something with it. That's what we're saying here. You can fix it. It's not like just finding out and then go, so what do I do with this? No, now you know why. When you know why you do things, you can stop it. When you don't know why, what happens? You tend to have the same behaviors all the time.
Yes, because you are always tackling the wrong problem. You're never going to solve the situation because you don't deal with the root, what's causing it. But when you identify the problem, the solution to every problem is first of all understanding what it is, the correct definition of the problem. So once you identify what the problem is, then you can develop strategies, you can decide what to do about it. For example, to follow your example, I'm afraid of losing, right? So you can, once you recognize that, you can process in your mind that you are operating on an obsolete program. When you were a child and your parents divorced and you lost everything, that was then. Probably now you may even be much more, much better financially than you were when your family was when you were a child. And you still have behaviors that a person who's poor usually has. A person who is very tight-fisted, a cheapskate, a person who is counting pennies and cents, etc. You are operating on an obsolete system from the past. You need an upgrade. You need an upgrade. You need to update yourself. You need to realize that you're not 7 or 12 years old anymore, and you are living in a different life with a different person in different circumstances. And you need to adapt to the reality now and give up the idea that somehow through control or through the illusion of control, you can actually control everything around you. You can't. You cannot control everything. Life needs faith. Life requires faith. You need to have faith. You need to believe and have hope for the best and not be fearing the worst all the time. That's no way to live. So once you identify the problem, you can come up with strategies to deal with it. And then you realize that you're a control freak because of your fears, and then you can start managing that. So suddenly you're no longer snapping all the time at your husband or wife. Suddenly you're not making a big deal of every little thing again and being a general to your kids, etc., etc. You are much easier to live with. And then the magic happens. What is the magic? The problems, the relationship problems that you thought about so much, they disappear because the root is gone. Suddenly the whole tree is dried up. The leaves fall off. The branches disappear because there's no more root. And that's the beauty of it. It's like we've been saying, marriage problems don't exist, right? When we say this, people always ask, what do you mean don't exist? I have marriage problems. No, marriage problems really, strictly speaking, don't exist. What does exist is there are two people with their own personal problems desperately trying to change each other. That's what happens. That's one very important definition of marriage problems. Two problematic people desperately trying to change each other who don't recognize their own problems.
And the worst of it all is that it looks simple. Like, oh, I'm a control freak. Okay, what if I don't change this? What if I just leave this root there, right? The problem is this root is feeding a behavior that is self-destructive. So we only solved our problems at 12 years of marriage. When I told him that we were gonna have to separate. So imagine if we had separated.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't even know why. We would have separated and we would have said, well, he was the problem. I would have said he was the problem and he would have said I was the problem. And a lot of people are in their second relationship, second marriage, third marriage today, still don't know the root of their problem, still causing more problems, still carrying this root with him, her, towards the next relationships. And not only love relationships, but also children and friends and family. So you start having problems with everybody and you don't know why you have this problem. And so what comes next? You start thinking, I have a problem myself. I am not a good person. Mm-hmm. It's not that you're not a good person. It's not that you're not rich, that you're not beautiful, that you're not intelligent. It's not that. It's the root. But people don't find the root, don't do anything about the root, so they start concluding wrongly and they start having other problems. Depression, suicidal thoughts, and self-destructive behavior, like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for drugs. Look at how this is very serious. This is very serious. You need to understand why you are like that. You need to find out. You need to go for that. I know sometimes it's scary because it's like you're going a place that you usually don't like to go, right? Go deep and see yourself. We don't like going there. We don't like to, you know that place that is the basement that you just leave stuff there that you never go there. It's scary.
The scariest place.
Cockroaches and rats.
Yeah. You need to go down the basement.
Yeah.
Of your heart and find out what's there. All right. And it's probably some people may be thinking now, oh, so I need therapy. I need to go see a psychologist, and etc. We're not against it, but again, we are not necessarily for it because there are two very good psychologists in you. First, yourself, because nobody knows you better than you do. For a psychologist to help you, he needs to keep listening to you, to try and form a picture. How many sessions is he going to need? How much are you going to pay? Until he can form a very vague, shadowy image of your life. Right? Let's say you talk for 10 hours, 10 sessions with your psychologist. 10 hours! You're what, 40? You're 50? You think that 10 hours of conversation is going to help that guy know who you are? Okay. I'm not disputing here the ability of psychologists, etc. I respect the profession. But I'm saying you are your best psychologist because you know yourself better than anybody.
You're not going to judge yourself wrongly either. You're not going to be...
What you need to learn is to ask the right questions. You need to learn to look at the right things, change the points of view, and that takes me to the second best psychologist that we know, which is God. God created you. We were made in His image and likeness. His Spirit knows us. He knows us inside and out. He knows us from our mother's womb. And He is interested in helping us, not for our dollars, not for our bucks. He is interested in helping us for who we are. He loves us without judging us. And if you seek a relationship with God, if you seek the best psychologist, which is the Holy Spirit, He will reveal to you things about you never knew. So it's a journey. It's not a button that you press and everything is solved. It's a journey. But you can do this through prayer and effort, introspection, looking at your life, being unafraid to confront who you are, going down the basements and making the changes that you need. Remembering that you cannot change your partner, you cannot change your wife or your husband. You cannot. Give up on that already. Give it up. All those fights and bickering, oh, why aren't you more like this? Why do you always do that? Give that up. That does not help, okay? You can only change yourself. And guess what? Change is contagious. Change is inspiring. When you change, when you improve as a person, it passes on, it rubs off on your partner. When you let him be, let her be for a while, and focus on yourself, on becoming a better person, you will notice that it will start rubbing off on him or her.
So that's what you have to do. That's what we did. And we still do today. Because, you know, once you find one route, there are others. There are other routes down there. You have to keep finding.
But it's a very effective. It's like in one fell swoop, you can just kill off years and years of marriage problems and issues that you never see eye to eye on when you just cut off the problem by the root. Okay? We talk more about this. We wrote more about this in our book, Bulletproof Marriage. If you want to take a look, just go to Amazon.com, look up Bulletproof Marriage, Renato and Cristiane Cardoso, and have a read. You will see. It will open your eyes, and we hope it will change your life and marriage as well. Well, that was a long stretch.
Yeah.
But that's it for today.
We'll see you next week then.
See you next week with one more, The Love School USA.
Bye-bye.